Over the years, Native American education has evolved. Early education was done through the oral tradition and customs. When white settlers came, education changed to a boarding school system to teach the white man's ways. Today, we have returned to learning the traditions and culture of Native American ways of life. We are the next generation of Native American education.
Rudy Mitchell is a retired professor from Creighton University, where he taught Native American studies. He was raised on the reservation. 7 years ago, Rudy left the reservation. Even though he isn't on the reservation anymore, he still learns about Native American culture. He shares his knowledge in Native American teaching.
Jaja Wiwita Sihituba in Kesabe ede Mabdeho Umaha ede Mabdeho Jaja Wiwita Sihituba. I gave you my Indian name, Sihituba. I'm a member of the Buffalo Clan, and I belong to the Omaha tribe of Nebraska. My English name is Rudy, and my last name is Mitchell. This is Chief Big Elk. He was the last hereditary chief, and I'm a descendant. He's like my great-great-great-grandfather. You know, the last 5 years, I just retired last year. The last 5 years, I taught at Creighton. Actually, my doctorate's in counseling psychology. But because I worked something like 40 years on the 3 Indian reservations in Nebraska, I taught Native American Studies because the experience I've had as a tribal chairman. I was the president of the community college there at Macy. You know, I was talking to my sisters, you know, we always said our mother never told us some of the negative things that went on, because I don't think she wanted us to know. But she used to tell us how hungry she used to be and going to boarding school in Genoa, Nebraska. When she went to Carlisle Indian School in Pennsylvania, the first boarding school in the United States. Being homesick, lonesome, was one of the biggest problems, she said. I guess they took them on a train, you know, to Genoa, and she said in the evening or weekends, they'd stand and look down at the railroad tracks, you know, coming back this way, and all feel, you know, crying, lonesome and all that, she said. But yeah, you know, that's what I was saying, you know, she never did share some of the, you know, some of the abuse that went on, you know. She did say that they couldn't speak the Omaha language while they were there. And, you know, you can read about reports. Some of the schools where they'd wash the children's mouth out with soap and punish them for speaking the language and all this. And that's why, you know, we've lost a lot of our languages, because the boarding schools really, you know, prevented Indian children from speaking the language. And even today, you know, there's 6,000 of us tribal members. There's only about, I would say, 22 elders that speak the language fluently. And I'm predicting about 2 generations and our languages can no longer exist. Although I really believe in a lot of my traditional ways. Like I said, you know, speaking, you know, I was taught, you know, to speak Omaha first, because it's very important. My values and morals come first to me than my non-Indian morals and values. When I think as an Omaha Indian from what I was taught and all this, you know.
Imagine being taken from home and sent off to a new life, where you had to learn a new language, wear new clothes, and be a part of a new culture. Native Americans were forced out of their homes and sent to boarding schools around the United States. They were forced to learn a new language, cut their hair, and change their traditional clothes to uniforms. The natives were also stripped of their cultural ways of life. Native Americans learned multiple things in boarding schools. Boys learned blacksmithing, agriculture, printing. Some of the things the girls learned were cooking, baking, and sewing. Some extra things they did were boys and girls basketball, track and field, and also baseball.
Tammy Maldonado is the director of the OPS Native Indian Centered Education Program. It is also known as the NICE program, which helps Native American students in middle and high school, which helps them stay in school and get scholarships for college.
My name is Tammy Maldonado. I believe it started about 15 or so years ago as the Title VII programming, and so they offered some tutoring and some opportunities for students under the Title VII funding at that time. And Title VII funding is the government's response to making sure that Native American students have extra opportunities or are able to gain additional supports that other students don't necessarily need because of the historical trauma and challenges that our families face.